my dad, taught me to wrench on cars, and we wrenched on American-made, muscle cars. And we used Craftsman tools because we bought those from Sears. Sears was an American company. Craftsman tools were built, forged, and made here in America. And you know what ended up happening? They started making that shit in fucking China.
And that got lower on my list of priority tools.
I tell you what, I
switched right away.
You will not find a Craftsman anything in my garage or in my toolbox.
It's funny that you say that, because before I was before I had an understanding about how making things in America actually affects like our economy and our freedom. Before I understood any of that, when I used to just be in like high school and be all into cars, I was like, I don't want to fucking use like Harbor Freight or like Craftsman. Right. I was like, I want to use like Snap-on, dude.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's something to consider, when you're in the market for this type of gear, because most of these companies are American companies that you're gonna hear about. There are some European companies that are out there that are very active in the market and do a pretty good job. I personally don't have any of their gear, so I can't speak to it, but I think they're doing a really good job. I have seen their gear, I've had my hands on their gear, and it's really good stuff. But again, this is a very American thing that we're talking about here. There's a lot of countries that think we're fucking weird for even having guns. And again, talking firearms and the gear that comes along with that, these are very American companies. They're run by, T-Rex, 80 employees here in America or whatever. But how many of those companies that are of American companies that preach the American made, which we've talked about here before, are shipping their shit off to somewhere else where they're losing quality control? And it is kind of undermining the whole basis for why we're fighting for this right, why these things are important to us as a country, as a community, and undermining it a bit. And I just, that I know you have a big problem with. You've been very vocal about it before, and I don't know that people really understand that, especially as you're coming into the community, because this is the first time it ever maybe really mattered. Because if you're an electronics person, none of that shit's made here. I mean, I just want Apple. Nothing is manufactured in America, right? So this is a slippery slope. Like, I'm sitting here talking to you, through a microphone that wasn't made here, right? We're being filmed by a camera that was made somewhere else, right?
It's my favorite camera.
It's my favorite camera too, right? So, I mean, again, it could be a slippery slope, but in this particular genre, in these particular type of products, doesn't have to be a slippery slope.
It doesn't have to be. Well, for one, why don't we take, why don't we take all this like freedom fighting military background and keep that same energy and stop sending our shirts out to China and then selling them for more expensive than my American made shirts? Because I know how much those cost, because I fucking make American made shirts. So when you go out and you spend $5 on a Chinese shirt, stamp your name on it, and have thousands upon thousands of followers buying this shit, and you're riding on, I'm a veteran, I'm spec ops, I'm whatever, you know what I mean? What are you fighting for? Like, if we were talking about fucking sex toys, maybe no one would give a shit about freedom and where it's made. But hello, like the 2A community is like the front line of fucking freedom, isn't it? That's what we claim to be.
It's a solid comparison.
Well, I'm just saying, I thought of something super fucking random. You know what I mean?
I know. I've never thought about that.
Like,
GP, but I think you nailed it, dude.
But my point,
you're probably right.
My point is, dude, I'm sure I'll piss somebody off by saying that. But look, dude, you want to talk about your big dick on fucking training and why you're superior than somebody like Lucas or me, which, by the way, like I said, I don't do a lot of firearms training because I don't look to do that. I just look to make people better when I can, But even with that being said, I'm confident in the shit that I say because I'm well read on things. But I also know I've never been to Iraq. I'm not going to claim to be like that. But if you're going to claim to be like that and you're going to ride on that shit, don't fucking buy Chinese shit. Don't sell Chinese shit, because you're riding on, I'm a fucking freedom fighter. That's basically what you're riding on, right? When you're selling the 2A community all of this shit about how you fought for our freedoms. And dude, I have not lived the hardships that they lived through, so I'm not going to sit here and claim like, I know what it's fucking like, dude. I'm sure there's a shit ton of stuff I would never understand. You're just saying
it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to understand your message, and you're making it really fucking confusing.
Yeah. Well, what it is to me is what's very annoying in any space, because this happens to me all the time at the other place that I worked at, fucking selective hearing. Like, you're like, oh, okay, well, today it matters that we're fighting for freedom because I'm selling you guns. But the next day, it doesn't matter that we're fighting for freedom because the profit margins on fucking Chinese shirts are amazing.
Right. It's lining my pockets.
And I'm saying shirts because that's like the easiest go-to for every fucking person.
Gotcha.
Right. But that goes into optics, that goes into lights. Like, I'll straight up say, dude, I fucking love Streamlight, and it's really hard for me to like get away from some of the innovation and price points that they've brought with the high level of quality. Cause that's a big thing we're fighting too, dude. Mm-hmm. I know firsthand from me buying American jeans, American flannels, making American clothes and products that, like, I have my hardships too, dude. And sometimes there's a Chinese product that's just as good as mine for cheaper. And I'm just like, well, holy fucking shit. How do I compete with that? Well, I don't know. I sleep better at night because I want to have kids and I want to have grandkids. You got to want freedom.
You got to do your best, man. You know what you got to do? Stop going to fucking Starbucks every day, right? Or 5 days a week for a fucking $8 coffee.
Yeah.
Do the fucking math. You got an extra $250 in your pocket at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Like, do it that way.
Straight up.
You know, make some compromise rather than the instant gratification or just fucking blowing it off. And again, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. I just don't know that the people that are entering in the community right now fully grasp what you just said. Yeah. And I think so what you're bringing to the table is definitely a tip, or a takeaway, which is understand the deeper roots within here. And look, if you want to buy, it's fucking America. Those freedom fighters fought for your right to be able to choose to buy that Chinese shit if you want. But think about it for a second. Like, does that feel right to you? Does that seem right? If that's what you want to do, you go right ahead. But at the end of the day, understand the impact that is going to have and it is going to make down the road, whether it's to the moral fabric, whether it's to the financial and economic fabric.
Dude, because there's a lot that goes into it. Like, think about it.
It just gets easier and easier to do every time you do it.
Right now.
Either way, it gets easier and easier to try to find that American product if you're trying to work, if you're doing it every time. But it's also the slippery slope on the other end. Like, yeah, it's just this thing. Like, it's fine. I'm just going to buy the Chinese.
Well, it's easy to shrug it off. That's the world we live in. And we've gotten so deep into the hole of buying things that are like foreign made that tomorrow it won't be gone, no matter if everybody flipped a switch.
No, you can't turn it off.
This will take a long time to get out of, but it needs to happen, in my opinion, if we care about what America's built on.
Or how much gas you have to, or how much the gas that you put in your car costs.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very stop with the noise. Stop trying to pull the wool over my eyes. Like, this is stupid. Like, we have plenty of it. We just need to fucking tap into it. That shit's bullshit, but that is a prime example that everybody can relate to right now. If you think for 2 seconds the shit that we're talking about isn't real, the next time you go to the gas pump and you start filling up your car, there it is, right there, right in front of your face.
Yeah, dude. Like, think about it. We have the supply chain issue. Is that American supply chain or is that foreign?
I think we both know the answer to that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, like, there's a ton of things that go into this. How many more American jobs do we have? How much more pride do we take in our country? And where does this freedom go? If we continue to build a stronger economic, like a stronger economy for other countries, what's happening to ours?
It's clear. It's we're looking at it every day. I mean, without...
we definitely got off a little bit.
I digress, but it is, again, if you're going into buying products, right, and maybe even services within the industry at large, think about those things and the impacts that they have now and in the future. Start to make these little, maybe ask the second and third question. Be a little bit more critical in your thinking. Who it is that you're getting it from, what's their involvement, product development, distribution, manufacturing, because all that shit matters in the end. It's all impactful. It all impacts us. And those companies that are standing loud and proud will be happy to talk to you about it and work through issues. They might not be the best at customer service. I'm not saying that that's the case, but they'll be happy to talk about it. If they're not talking about it, then maybe you think differently. Just work a little harder, ask a few more questions, work a little harder, at asking those questions and walking down that path of where is this coming from? Who's it coming from? Who's selling this to me? What is the history of this company? Where can I get a little bit? It's all there in front of you. All that information is accessible for you. Think about doing that. So when you see the ad pop up on Instagram, then maybe, as much as this maybe pains me to say, go to Google.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Just go to Google and do a simple search. If that's the first step, great. And then from there, obviously there's a lot of other things you can do, but maybe have a look and where is this product manufactured? Who's manufacturing for this person? What is the history of this company? And what is the reputation that these people have? Because I think that'll guide you down the right path.